Now class, we come back to section 2.3, part 2. Now I would tell you this section requires you to use the calculator or the Excel program to find the equations listed here. So what I'm going to do is go through the answers that you should have gotten for these different problems using your calculator or Excel. Okay, example 1. It says the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services is interested in smoking rates for U.S. teenagers. Every year, the government agency asks teenagers if they have smoked a cigarette within the past month. The data from several years of this research are in the table below. It says let P equals F of T be the percent of U.S. teenagers who have smoked cigarettes within the past month at T years since 2000. Find a linear regression model for P. Give 2 decimal places. Okay, so basically it says, okay class, I just noticed something here. On your notes, you have a graph and also this percent of data here. And your A, B, and C is a little different than what my A, B, and C is. So what I'm going to do is this here. I'm going to answer this according to your A, B, and C. Now your A is actually this B here. So this is your A. It says consider a scattergram of data. Does the linear model appear to be appropriate? And then here, for that, that'll be yes, because it looks as though it's in a straight line, so a linear line would be appropriate. So you would put yes, linear model. The linear model is good because the points are all close to a line. Okay, now that is your A. It'll be yes, the linear model is good because the points are all close to a line. Okay, now I do not have your B here, but I could read your B off. It says consider the scattergram of the data. Explain why linear regression would be the best way to find an equation of a linear model for these data. So we will put B here, and we will write why it's the best model. It's because linear regression uses all the points. So the answer for your B would be because linear regression uses all the points. Now we have to look at your C. Now actually, my A is your C. Now one thing we have to remember is this. At T years since 2000, that is your starter year. That's very important that this is the year that you start. Now they want us to find a linear regression model for P. So what you need to do is put this in your calculator, and your linear regression model will come out as y equals negative, and if you round it to decimal places, it'd be a negative 0.64 x plus 14.24. However, we want to write this in terms of P and T. So it'll be P is equal to a negative 0.64 T plus 14.24. So this would be your answer, and this is what you should have gotten in your calculator or on Excel. Okay, now on your next page, but the bottom of my page, my C is actually your D here on the next page. It says, using the regression model, find f of 18 by hand. What does this mean in this situation? Is this interpolation or extrapolation? So we know this would be our D here. Okay, so we will have P is equal to a negative 0.64. And we know that would be t plus 14.24. So we'll have p is equal to negative 0.64 times 18 plus 14.24. So we have p is equal to 2.72. So now remember, our starter year was since 2000. So we know that this would be in 2018, because that's what we started. F of 18 means 2018. The model predicts about 2.72% of U.S. teens will have smoked cigarettes in the past month. Okay, now we go to your E, which is actually my D. Okay, so it says using the regression model, find t when f of t is 6 by hand. What does this mean in this situation? So what we will have is that same equation. P is equal to negative 0.64t plus 14.24. And this time we will substitute in 6 for p. So it'd be 6 is equal to a negative 0.64t plus 14.24. Now we're going to subtract 14.24. And this will give us a negative 8.24 is equal to a negative 0.64t. Now, we will need to divide each side by a negative 0.64. So our final answer here would be t is equal to 12.875. Now, we know we're doing this by year, so 12.875 would be approximately 13. And since we're starting from the year 2000, we know our answer would be 2013. So what we will put here is about 6% of teenagers will have smoked cigarettes in the past month in 2013. Now, this whole statement goes for this answer here. And this is also extrapolation, because when we look back up at our chart, we only go up to 2008. And one other thing, I need to go back to the last problem, because we did not put down whether it was interpolation or extrapolation. Now, this here for this model also would be extrapolation. Because if you look at our percents, the lowest percent we go to is 9.1. And that's far below 9.1 with that 2.72%. Okay, now we go to the next value here. It says, using a regression model, find the p-intercept by hand. What does this mean in this situation? Now, my A here is actually your F. Okay, so now we will write down the equation. We have P is equal to a negative 0.64 T plus 14.24. Now we know when we deal with p-intercept, that means T would be 0. So we have P is equal to negative 0.64 times 0 plus 14.24. So we will multiply this. This will give us 0. So we have P is equal to 0 plus 14.24. So P is equal to 14.24. Now, because this was set up like y equals mx plus b, we could have easily looked at this equation here and saw that our p-intercept would have been 14.24. So this means in 2000, about 14.24% of U.S. teens had smoked cigarettes in the past month. Okay, now we move on. But actually, before we do, we need to write this also as an ordered pair. So it'll be 0, 14.24. So this would be the final answer as far as the p-intercept, and this would be the meaning of what the 14.24 means. Okay, now my B here is actually your G. It says, using the regression model, find the t-intercept by hand. What does it mean in this situation? Now, in this situation here, we have P is equal to negative 0.64 T plus 14.24. So this time we're going to make P 0, negative 0.64 T plus 14.24. For some reason, the decimal isn't staying. So we'll subtract 14.24 on both sides. And that would give us a negative 14.24 is equal to a negative 0.64 T. We divide each side by a negative 0.64. And then this will give us T is equal to 22.25. And we will write this as an ordered pair. So it'll be 22.25, comma 0. Now, it says in about 2022, about 0% of U.S. teens will have smoked cigarettes in the past month. Okay, now the last question, C, my C, which is your H. It says here, for what values of T will model breakdown occur for certain?